Hi there and welcome to my studio. This week I am going to be showing you a fun and unique crayon rubbing resistance technique with the golden fluid acrylics, the sketch rice paper, beeswax crayons, and a couple of my stencil designs. And while I have your attention, I just want to let you know that I have a new online class that's going to be coming in January. It's called Birds in Boxes. This is a shadow box format assemblage and collage project. So it has a lot of three-dimensional items and it's set in a shallow shadow box. It's going to be tons of fun because we're going to be using thread spools and tiny clothespins, creating fabric out of wet strength tissue paper to hang on a clothesline. We're going to do a collage of a bird, and I've got 3 videos on that, so you can choose. I've got a cardinal, I've got a yellow cardinal, a male cardinal, a female cardinal, and then I've got a bird's nest with eggs. So any one of those 3, totally 3 different videos. And then we're going to work with silhouettes of birds raised up with dimension and a bunch of other stuff. Ephemera background, collage background. I pulled out all the stops for this workshop. There's lots of information. It's online in a pre-recorded format, so you don't have to be anywhere at any specific time. You have access to it for 1 year, and I will give personal feedback to everything you upload into the virtual classroom for the duration of the class dates. So I hope you're excited about that. Now let's get into wax crayon rubbing. Okay, so today we are going to do something fun and simple, but with interesting and unique results. So I'm using my Faber-Castell beeswax crayons, my 9x12 pad of Yasutomo sketch rice paper, and one of my own stencil designs called Lovely Leaves. I have a lot of stencils that I have designed for joggles, so if you haven't ever checked them out, I'll leave a link below in the description box where you can find this stencil and also my other designs. So basically we're using this as a low relief rubbing. So we're going to take a piece of the rice paper, and I like to work on the smooth side of this paper because it has sizing on it and it takes a little bit more use and abuse on the smooth side, and you can feel it. This side is smooth and the back side is more rough. Okay, so I'm going to lay that on top of the stencil, and I'm going to grab a crayon color, and let's see, I want to go with something. Let's do some green. I'd like to do some blue and green. I don't know, those are always the colors I lean towards. So plus the papers are off of them. It's helpful to have the paper off. So we're just going to lay it on its side and do a rubbing like you would when you were a kid, doing a texture rubbing. And this can be a lot of fun just because it does remind you of being a kid. So we want to get a good impression. So we're going to really work that crayon to get the color. I want to get a good impression. You could also experiment with a lighter coverage, heavier coverage. You could probably get a lot of different variations of this that way. And different effects, because ultimately I'm going to paint over this and the crayon is going to resist the paint. And so, depending on the effect you're going for, you can vary the pressure and vary the pattern from the crayon. That's the beauty of art. Every time you do it, you're going to get a different result. You really never get the same 2 things twice. So, but I just love how the stencils provide the perfect low relief for this crayon rubbing. Okay. So I could do it straightforward like that, but I was thinking about adding a second stencil and a second color to have a layer like we do in gel printing. So I could get another stencil design, and I would like to see what would go with this. So I could either layer it with like a big large opening one like this, but I think I would like to add spirals to this. So I'm going to put the spiral stencil underneath, take the leaves out, and I'm going to use another color. So I chose the green. It's also in the cool color palette. So it will be a nice complement, I think, to the blue. So now I'm going to go in there. And this is just like I like to do on the gel plate. I like to layer patterns. So I'm just adding this spiral pattern in with the lovely leaves. So you could do this, or you could stop with the first layer. Whoops. I'm holding this in place. I moved one of the spirals, and I'm going to hold the paper in place so that I don't get it out of alignment. But the spirals, they can be such a pain like that. Okay. So now I have to decide what color will I paint over this. I could go with a very dark color, then we would have very high contrast. High contrast is not the type of paper I want to use in my collage work. However, well, I should take that back. Not always, not typically what I would use in my collage work. I try to create something that is cohesive in value. So I have a light value, a medium value, or a dark value for collage. But for the fun of this video, it may be interesting to go with a high contrast color over this. Darker would be great because it would really allow this pattern to show. Lighter would also work, but I think a darker color. So we could go for a dark green or a dark blue or a bluish green or a phthalo turquoise. That could be interesting. So let's see. So that's going to be a nice dark bluish green, which will complement the blue and the green in here, and the dark will allow the lightness of this crayon rubbing to show up. I would call this crayon rubbing kind of light to light. The green is light and the blue is kind of medium. That's why this is a good choice, because it's a high contrast. So I need to get some water and a sheet of palette paper. Of course, I could do it right here on my non-stick craft mat desktop, because this is waterproof and the paint comes off of it really easily. But the problem with doing that is it's going to occupy my desk until it dries, which could be a while, especially since it's winter and it's chilly and humid in Sacramento. So I'm going to get a sheet of palette paper. That way I can pick it up with the palette paper and move it off the desk and still work on my surface. Okay, so here's a 12 by 16 sheet of palette paper that I'm going to put underneath. And let's see, probably do it this way, and I'll put the paint onto the palette sheet as well. And then I need to have a soft bristle brush, so I'm going to use this one with some water. Don't judge me on my filthy water bucket. I've owned it for a very long time. And we want to put a decent amount of water in there, and then we're going to brush it on top. We don't want to brush it full strength. It's got to have water. The water allows the paint to resist off the crayon better. The golden fluid acrylics are really highly pigmented, so to add water to them does not really dilute the color. A certain amount of water added to them does not really dilute the color. So what I'm seeing through here is more the green than the blue, and I wonder if that's because the blue is too close to the value of the phthalo turquoise. Too close to the value and, you know, kind of close to the color. So let's see. Sometimes it takes a couple seconds and the paint will roll off of the crayon as it dries. Let's see. But you can certainly see the green through it because the green is a lot lighter. But I think that when this sheet dries, you're going to see more of that blue. So here's another beauty of this. If we really get the color to go all the way through, what's going to happen when we tear this sheet for collage is that we are going to have colored edges. We're not going to have white edges. So I'm just going to pull some of the pigment from this side kind of over to the other side. And the paper is sloughing a little bit with the water on this side, and that's because it is the unsized, rough side. That is why I like to work on the other side, the smooth side, because the sizing that makes it smooth prevents the paper from kind of pilling up the way it is here. So it definitely takes more use and abuse on the smooth side, which is the side that faces up towards you in the pad, but you can always tell the difference by feeling it. Okay, so now I've got color that's going all the way through this sheet, and I'm going to have turquoise edges when I tear it. So I'm going to give this some time to dry, and we'll come back and look at it and see if we can see more of the blue. I do see the blue in there, but I also see more of the green. But for my purposes, this is a beautiful, subtle crayon print to get a nice medium green value collage paper. So I've moved that off the desk, and I'm going to try again with a different color palette. So we'll put the paper, and we're going to do the, let's see, I'm going to use this one. This is from one of my Patterns for Layering collections. I'm not exactly sure of the name of it, but the link will be below for all of the stencil designs. I think that light is a little bit better. It's awful gray out today. So let's put this under the stencil on top, and we'll grab these beeswax crayons, and let's go with a yellow and a peach. We'll go with a warm color palette. So we'll get the peach in here. You can see why it's important that you get a really good crayon texture because for how I put the phthalo turquoise over it, to get it to show up, it needed to be like a solid, really kind of a solid layer of wax. But like I said, you can experiment with how dramatic you want the crayon rubbing to show, or if you want it to just be subtle. Okay, so there's that. This is a groovy kind of mid-century modern texture that I really like. Pattern, I should say. Okay, so now I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to add the spirals to this one as well, because the spirals will be a good pattern to come into these larger openings. This is where the pattern, the layering of size of patterns is important to consider. So now I have spiral pattern in the openings of that mid-century modern pattern for layering. So this is a good combo here. And, okay, so there's the yellow. And just to make this interesting, I'm going to bring back the original one and do it sort of horizontal so we can get a little bit more of that pattern going. So I'm laying it the other direction. So I can get a little bit more of this peachy orange color in there. So now I've got the two, okay? So again, I'm going to go with a dark color on this, but it's going to need to be a warm dark color. Okay, so we're going to put this out here, just like we did last time. Get some water in there. And go over. So now we're really seeing, this is a contrast where we're really seeing the pattern come through right away with this one. So lots of water, And this is a color that is darker than both of the crayon colors I put down. So this is going to be higher contrast than the first one. This, oh, I do love the combination of pink and yellow. So that was a good choice. And this is just higher contrast. So it'll be a busier paper and a different, kind of a different feel. Also, it's a warm color, obviously, and the first one was a cool color. But I've definitely got lighter crayon here and darker paint. There, we'll get some darker pink in there. And I think you really have to stay to the end of the video. I'll show you these when they're dry so that you can really kind of see it in its finished state, which is sometimes different than what you expected or how you started out. So now we've got this one with the spirals and the mid-century modern and a much higher contrast, much lighter crayon, much darker paint. And then we have the first one, which is in the process of drying. And I'm seeing a little bit more of that blue back there. And this is a little closer in value. So this is all sort of medium, and this is a higher contrast. So we'll let those dry and we'll have a look at them and see what they look like in the finished state. Okay, so these are pretty much dry now. They're still a little wet, but this is what the color is going to look like. So you can really see the spirals, the light green spirals in this one much more than you can see the blue lovely leaves, and that is because the blue was too close in color and value to the paint color that we put over the top. But I don't consider it to be unsuccessful because it's a beautiful medium green value collage paper. Now this one you can really see because of a much higher contrast between the yellow and the peach to the magenta. You can really see this pattern. So you can work with or decide whether you want subtle patterns or bold patterns with this technique. And I think it's going to provide a lot of fun with the again, with this Yasutomo sketch rice paper, because it is the paper that absorbs the color all the way through like this to the other side. Regular art paper doesn't do that. So when you want to use this in collage and tear it to have colored edges, you want to use the rice paper because it soaks the color all the way through. And I find that the beeswax crayons really resist the color the best because they are beeswax. So that's what I'm using. All the supplies are listed down below in the description box, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I thank you from the bottom of my art heart for being here every week, for setting your alarm if you're like me on the West Coast and you've got to get up at 6 a.m. to watch these videos when they premiere. Either that or stay in bed and sleep and watch it later. Anyway, thanks and happy holidays, and I'll see you soon.